messed up in their work in ways that are complicated.
Who got to buy the nice house? Who got to buy the nice cars? Who got to go to the nice places and eat the nice meals at the nice restaurants? Was that the persona or was that the person? Who benefited from the...
Yeah, it's a package. You know these things. But look, an actor takes a role, right? Let's say an actor plays a part in a movie and it's a villainous part in a movie, and then after he's done acting, he goes and drives his nice car to a nice restaurant. I wouldn't confuse the act with the actor.
Really? So what about the impacts of the act? And by the way, good morning, Sam.
I'm sorry, I just couldn't take this anymore. Benjamin, you're losing this argument, okay? You're not. Just say, all right, dude, it's too early in the morning. I haven't had my coffee yet. I'll talk to you later about this. Because you're making absolutely zero sense.
All right, listen, I am happy to listen to Sam make some sense on this. And Sam, it's good to see you. Good morning.
By the way, Benjamin, did you know that you're black? Because
is it Byron or Mo? Sorry, Sam, really quick. I just want to get Mo in after you, Sam.
Hands off when I answer your question.
And you can come. You were on the phone, so you'll be after Mo.
Go ahead, Mo.
Sam, you're up first.
No,
Sam, I want you to... No, Sam.
I was gonna make a sassy comment.
I need the sassy comment to get through this moment, so I need you.
I was gonna say, Benjamin, did you know you're black? Because I talked down to you, and I...
Oh my God! Okay, never mind. Okay, forget it. No.
Good morning, Sam. We love you.
No, I was accused of being a racist. And so I'm like, I've been behaving that way towards Benjamin for 4.5 years. I guess Benjamin's black.
Mo, you're up. I regret censoring Sam.
I warned you.
Okay, I don't even know if I can articulate my thought. Let me see if I can go there. At the beginning there, I was following Benjamin's, what he was saying for a minute there with YouTube, like with the algorithm and whatnot. Like, I feel that some people, when they put out their material, like when he was talking about the likes and whatnot, that what they say and what they do can be influenced by what is getting more likes, and that can sort of guide what they keep on continuing putting out.
Like that British comedian that he's like famous for being in AA and doing psychedelics and being all spiritual. What's his name? Anyway, go on. But yes, I've heard that the positive reinforcement of monetizing certain views makes him amplify those views. So
yes, and I think that can go for anybody who's trying to put out content, on their pages. It's like, okay, hey, if I'm gonna put a booty shot and a bunch of people are gonna like it, I'm gonna put out more booty shots. Not that that's something I would ever do. It's just, it's just this reinforcement that people get, and I think people can get caught up in that. And yeah, like, so I just wanted to say that when he mentioned that point, I felt like I could agree with that aspect, but that's it. And then I know Marshall wanted to answer the question. And
Marshall, did you hear all the quotes or enough of the quotes? Are you familiar with his?
I heard them all. My opinion.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead.
My opinion is still the same. I think the comments are despicable. It's not somebody I would have in my private political group. But just like you said, nobody deserves to get shot down like a dog in the street. The only point I was trying to make about governance is that political violence, if you go back from the 20s to now, which, I like history, and so that's kind of what I do. The point I was trying to provide was that political violence, when it gets more acceptable, just eats republics. So I don't support the stuff you said.
What are your thoughts about far-right people calling for the hanging of political figures on the left? Was there any problem?
To be clear, Dr. James, I don't think it's good when anybody does it at all. I don't think it's healthy or it's bad when the right does it. It's bad when the left does it.
Right.
Bad when the middle does it. That's essentially my opinion. Political violence is bad. It shouldn't happen. We shouldn't, we shouldn't say this dude deserved it. The Republicans are getting a little back what they failed to give in incidents where the opposing party asked for solace and we didn't get it.
So it was about people getting fired, though. That's where we started. This was a Rolling Stone article about people getting fired. What are your thoughts about people getting fired because they're commenting on the character and the legacy of the person?
I mean, if somebody the day after he got shot said something.
Oh, so there's no free speech on that day. When does free speech?
Just let me
Okay,
ask a question. If somebody said, "Hey, this kid deserves to get shot," I can't tell you what an editor would do. I think freedom of speech applies. People should be able to say horrible things. In fact, I'm sure you will agree with me. You don't need the protection of the First Amendment when you're saying shit people agree with. You need it when you're saying shit people don't agree with. So that's about the long and short of my view.
But I mean, do you think people should be fired for their jobs for essentially they were familiar with this person, the legacy of this person, maybe they had family members that were really impacted by this person in a way that for them didn't feel very good, and then they said, well, you know, I'm sorry for the families, but this is what I saw in the person, and you know, yada yada yada. When people do that, I mean, do you think that
I wouldn't say somebody deserves to be fired, but I'd have a serious conversation about manners. The guy got shot a day ago, and we're already doing this. I wouldn't fire the person, but I would definitely have a conversation. Like, do you really feel like this was appropriate one day after he got shot? Like, I don't feel like that shit's appropriate when the right did it with the Speaker of the I heard shit people said that I really didn't like about that.
Do people kind of in the MAGA sphere, do they have good manners? Is that what it is? Is that what they bring to the table?
No, it's me. I'm a person who thinks manners matter. I was raised with good manners, and so I think at least this was my experience. In the wake of him getting shot, the 6 hours after he got initially shot, there were already people coming out going, well, you know, he's got a bunch of fucked up shit, so maybe he got what was coming. Right? Like, I wouldn't say that shit in public. I don't think it's healthy or helpful. But I wouldn't fire somebody over it.
All right, thanks.
I had a quick comment, James.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know the old aphorism in journalism, if it bleeds, it leads. I kind of think that that's gotten extreme, and I mean, it applies to the internet too. If it makes them go, yikes, you'll get the likes. Kind of, you know?
Look, today feels like I'm putting you all in the hot seat a little bit, and I am, but it's really kind of more meant to kind of just sort of melt through into some kind of coherent. I'm looking for what do people really believe and feel about these things. I mean, I'm really interested, and maybe I'm going to come off a little spicy right now. Just my mood. You know, I love you a bit. As far as I'm concerned, and David, you're up. Speaking of spice.
Spice, good morning. I just don't know if you guys have talked about, they think they have the shooter in custody.
Oh, really?
Basically turned in by a family member. And
$100,000 reward for that.
I don't think they did it for that reason. But we could jump to that if you really want to. I was going to say that he lives by Zion National Park. Coincidence. But it's not that close to Salt Lake, Provo, and the area where the shooting was. Washington, Utah.
Could you unpack this more, or if you have any comments about
I put a link in the GPT-5 response to the question in the chat. People can take it wherever they want to go. I don't want to infringe on their investigative journalism, but I was back channeling Chinga that it's ironic that Grok knew about the details before NPR, but that's probably where the funding in the world's going. But we've got some smart people in the room. Haven't seen Steve Cronin a while. I'm curious how dystopian the racial profiling and Fourth Amendment vacation.
Good morning, Dr. Prince.
Good morning. And yes, it was his father that turned him in, and his father was contacted by, I think, a man from the church who he knew, who told his father that it
Did you know about the $100,000 reward for any information that led to the arrest and capture?
Sure. You know, and if you know, I mean, would I turn my kid in for $100,000? Probably not until I got a lawyer and, you know, set it up a little bit better and talk to the kid.
Oh, I see. So they paid for the attorney. That's it. That's an interesting way to think about it. No, I'm not saying you did, but I'm saying they kind of did effectively.
I don't think that Dr. James, although $100,000 is a lot of money in a lot of people's situations, I just don't think this has anything to do with the money.
I don't either. I think this guy knew that his son
completely
had
unrelated to the money. I mean, they flew Charlie Kirk in Air Force Two, his body. So, I mean,
if he doesn't take the money, then it wasn't about
resources aren't the issue here. This is terrorism, political violence, and a manhunt that the FBI's competence wasn't they truncated all the talented people in the government. Remember, they turned the resources on Trump's political enemies, which was a lot of agents. Anyway, I mean, yes, $100,000 is a lot of money. I doubt it even gets paid out, knowing that this administration, like, who are they going to pay it to? If somebody turned themselves in and didn't contact the FBI for the reward, you know, if you don't have your paperwork in good order, you don't even get insurance coverage. So I don't think the money's the issue here.
Seems like this person was really important to a lot of people, and yet I still don't understand why, except if he was just a popular influencer that people are just making a big kind of thing about.
At least on the political scene, it's because he organized and ran one of the largest grassroots groups in the country on the Republican side, and his groups are stationed at colleges, which were instrumental in getting the Republicans the largest share of the youth vote since Richard Nixon. I think that's why some people think he's important.
Trump basically said that it would have been somewhat impossible without Kirk's efforts on college campuses for him to win the three big states that he won, Pennsylvania and Wisconsin and one other one. So basically Trump credited his win to Charlie Kirk and his efforts.
That's why they're calling it an assassination versus, say, just like a murder.
I mean, they call it an assassination because the shot was taken from 200 yards away, which is not like I walk up from you and I'm 50 feet. It's not even like you're down the block from me. It's like 2 football fields where you can't hear anybody yelling, and where the shooter has to be incredibly proficient. So it's planned, methodical, and organized. Is why they called it an assassination.
I think it's an intended killing. I mean, not that hard to classify this as politically motivated, terroristic effect. Definitely an assassination.
Yeah, I think I agree with David, which is pretty rare. But I also agree with Marshall, right? It was unexpected that the Republicans would capture the youth vote. It was understood the Republicans would own the old vote. But to capture the youth vote was a surprise. Now, there's one other thing Marshall didn't say, which I think might reflect his prominence, and that is that the single largest predictor of whether you vote Republican or Democrat in the last election is no longer race, but whether or not you have have taken on student debt.
Say that one more time. I mean, because I was a little disassociated or not listening to you until you said that last.
In addition to what Marshall said, there was an unexpected shift in the politics that might be attributable to things like what Charlie Kirk does, and that was that education became a huge predictor of voting performance in 2024. Was it? I forget now. But
So what if you had debt then?
Well, no. Just basically, if you went to school, if you went to school, you had one particular politic, and if you didn't, you had another, and that was greatly magnified in this most recent election.
Can you put your source for that? Just not that I don't believe.
Oh yeah, that I can do.
Because I just wanted the specifics. You said took on debt, and there's a difference between those that may have taken it on and still have it versus those that took it on and paid it off.
This is not really. No, I'm just using that.
It was a premise for your conclusion. So that
better. No, it's just a basket attribute, right?
Okay, Benjamin's basket. No, he's basket. He's basket weaving. No, he's basket weaving. He's not willing to sort of land his point in actual ground.
I just didn't know what the specifics were. I'm not trying to pick a fight. Just there's a difference between taking on debt and still having it 20 years later, 15 years.
He's trying to say more educated people vote more to the left, and less educated people vote more to the right. That's what he's trying to say.
Well, you can say education because Charlie dropped out of community college.
I know.
It's just how much of this education? What is he talking about? What's the debt? I like to dig into details. I think dear to Benjamin's heart because I want to see the data.
Listen, we had a good conversation, Benjamin. But if you're going to kind of do that, you're welcome. Obviously, totally welcome here. It's just people may react to it.
That's fine. I can certainly. The thing that happened in the exit polls, the question asked was like whether you have a college education or not, right? And it seemed to be more important and more predictive in this last election than it has been in the past.
So you're saying by him politicking at the schools, that was how he had a real impact on
I think that what he is doing is he is.
It doesn't matter. It's anonymous.
Areas in which academia is weak.
He doesn't have any block.
Amplifying those weaknesses so that people are aware of them. I think there's more of
of course, but it's a new account, so he hasn't blocked the new account. And he wouldn't know what the new account is anyways because
been in the past.
Is he a plus? Yeah, he does have plus. I'd have to view his profile, and then he would have to view who viewed him, and then figure out who I am.
Who's your perception? Who's your opinion?
Did you hear?
I'm saying that's a perception that Charlie Kirk has focused on.
Did you hear yesterday that woman and other people listening to shit also in the Facebook chat? I was getting screenshots of the Facebook chat.
Charlie Kirk.
I know.
And can you tell me which weakness in academia was being shown to us with all those foul?
See, I think I have some Democratic.
Can you make that connection now?
I think that it's the Marxism, right? When you get to Marxism, the postmodernism, the neo-Marxism.
Women should stay home, and what are you doing, having an opinion and shit like that. All that stuff that Dr. James read. Yeah, are you now saying that Marxism is for women's equality, and because Marxism is bad, then women's equality is bad, and women should be subjugated to the will of their husbands? Is that your position?
It's not my position. I think
please jive your position that he was bringing up criticism of academia with the words that Dr. James read that he spouted.
So sure. So let's take a paper that has been pointed out in the past. I've used it.
Like Charlie Kirk?
No. There's a
specific here because we're not grounding this with Charlie Kirk's
Yeah,
views.
so
We're grounding in with your
don't
views.
talk about
I don't
other
want your
people.
views, Benjamin. We know them.
Don't talk
We're
about
familiar
other
with you.
people. What other? I want you, Benjamin, to jive Charlie Kirk, his words, with you, Benjamin, your opinion. I'm not talking about anybody else's paper. I don't care about anybody else's paper. I just want you to jive Charlie Kirk's words with your view that he was attacking Marxism in academia because academia is weak. Go ahead.
Yeah, so there's a Marxist thread within academia that drives through group narratives, group positioning, this group versus that group. Marx fundamentally was that there was a conflict between two groups of people, the workers and the owners of corporations.
I'm sorry, was
And
my question that incomprehensible that this is the answer that comes back? I thought my question was very simple.
And this dialogue of pitting one group of people versus another group of people is sometimes like replicated in racial relationships, replicated in gender relationships, replicated in special gender relationships, etc., right? It becomes a this versus that. And
We're not talking about
so
Republicans
what are you
and
talking
conservatives are Marxists because this narrative of pitting people against each other is now being done by the Republicans and Trumpists. Has always been done. They've always pitted blacks and whites against each other. So are you telling me that the Republican Party has always been a Marxist institution?
Well, let's be a little more basic than that. You know, this university is in Orem, Utah. That's a very, very conservative part of the country and very heavily influenced by the Mormon Church. And it's hard to believe that this was a Marxist-infused college campus. Of all the college campuses in the United States, this would be the least likely to be Marxist.
that may well be, but one of the things that Charlie
Can we just put an
on a regular
observation down,
basis,
Benjamin, real quick? This was the starting point, the first stop on the Turning Point campus tour for the fall. It was tour stop on the T-shirt, band appearance number 1. That's why it was here. He lives in Utah. Let's put a little. I'm not doing the investigation here, guys, but let's not pull from the entire Easter basket here.
Look, Charlie Kirk would do this sort of thing. He'd go on campus, he'd ask the students what their thoughts were on a variety of things, like, can men have babies? And then the students would give answers that they've obviously been indoctrinated to give in their classroom, and show that their answers are completely ridiculous and inconsistent, baffling, and completely out of the mainstream, right? The mainstream of America does not believe that men can have babies.
Yeah, the mainstream of America believes that women should be subjugated to their husbands. Is that what you're saying?
That's not what I'm saying. But when you have somebody showing
I asked you to jive your opinion with what Charlie Kirk said. And now you're telling me that he was saying the things he was saying in order to attack the mainstream stuff in the culture. And so, according to you and according to him, women being subjugated to their husband is a mainstream ideology, then that has to be reinstated into college campuses, correct? All I did was I took your words and I made a syllogism out of it. So So, I'm going to give you another chance, Benjamin, even though I'm not a mod. But if you could tell me how you jive your opinion of Charlie Kirk.
Dr. James, I was under the impression this wasn't going to be a debate room, but I feel like
it's not a debate room, but we're just asking you for your opinion or your position, and I think what Sam is doing is fair. It's just a question. It's just a question.
I'm not debating you, Benjamin. I'm just asking you a question.
It's not a debate. I mean, really, it's the opposite. It's curiosity. He's trying to understand where
you have no idea what my argument is. I'm just asking you to make an argument before I can even consider whether I can counter it or not.
Or even just give you his position. It doesn't have to be an argument. Just give you, you're asking a question.
Yeah. Okay. So, look, I just wanted to add something to what Marshall said. Marshall said something I think that was
no. Okay, listen. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do the thing where I'm the mod. Blah blah blah. No, you could either answer Sam's question, or we have new people on stage that I want to.
The only answer I have to Sam's question is that I think he's constructing a straw man. I never said that women should be subjugated to their husbands.
Okay, you just entered a debate. You said straw man. We don't want to do.
Okay,
that's fine. He doesn't want to answer.
Yeah. Okay. It's fine. Yes.
Good morning, Chinga. He doesn't. Fine. I totally respect that, Benjamin. Hey, Chinga. Good morning. How are you? Today we're all gonna be like frogs. No, Benjamin. No, Benjamin. Benjamin, no.
Well, Dr. James, I think that what's happening is called
you can have opinions, but it's not your turn.
You keep appealing to the authority to get bailed out instead of answering the question, and then every time you get the microphone, you play whataboutism, pivot, or deflection, and it's. Everybody in the audience is aware of it by now, and it's just a waste of time. If you want to keep him on the stage,
no,
that way.
I don't want to keep him.
I want to try.
Benjamin, you can come up when everybody's had a chance to speak. Chinga's a new voice, and Dr. Francine wants to talk. So, Dr. Francine.
I want to talk about why it is that people are becoming so radicalized. The conversation, I happened to see the moment when Charlie Kirk was shot. And the conversation was about whether there were how many trans mass shooters there were. And the person who was asking the question was trying to elicit from Charlie Kirk, I think, because of course I can't really tell. But the person was trying to elicit from Charlie Kirk that trans people are mass shooters, and when someone is allowed to be trans, they become a mass shooter, or there's some connection, and that's really where the moment literally ended. And the guy's father said that he had become increasingly politically radicalized. We don't even know in which direction he became radicalized, or whether
in the murder direction. We know that. We know in the murder.
Well, that's radicalized.
No, that's becoming an assassin. I mean, that's.
Yeah.
We don't know any.
We don't know why he became radicalized. As long as we continue dividing ourselves into left and right, we will never solve this.
Well, he was apprehended alive, so we're gonna solve this. We actually will get to solve this problem because he's gonna get to go to court. I mean, unless he gets muzzled, I don't know. You think that's what's?
I don't think he'll be muzzled, but I think give him a tranquilizer or something. I don't know. It depends on how he behaves.
What I mean is,
commit suicide.
he could. You're right. That's right. He could, air quotes, commit suicide. You're right. Or he could literally commit suicide. But we've got Chinga and Stephanie up. Chinga, I want to give you a chance to speak. This is the third time I'm asking, and we can go to Stephanie. Stephanie, if you'd like to comment.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, and let me just for everybody, the context, the way this came up today was I was talking about a Rolling Stone article I read last night right before bed, where I read they're firing people for having any kind of opinion about the person, the legacy of the person who was recently assassinated, and I was like, oh, this is.
Can you describe the extent to I hear that some people are being fired, or they are?
I read an article in Rolling Stone. I asked the group, did anyone else read this article? I will post the article to the top, and then you can answer your own question.
Yeah. I just think that they are firing people. Is that
people have been fired?
Lawyers.
People have been fired. Hold on.
And I think that absolutely, when there's political violence of extreme nature, with 300 million Americans, anecdotally, if Rolling Stone wasn't able to find somebody, I think that they would not be doing their job. If they couldn't find somebody getting fired over this, and the existence of mining social media for the most ridiculous takes, finding out if that person got fired. Absolutely, I would expect it. I kind of hoped for it, but they probably weren't employed by the government. So it's not violating their First Amendment right.
I posted it to the top.
They can have a suit against their employer. I mean, we have a bunch of private actions that occur in our country. So this is wonderful.
Stephanie, I was just trying to give you that context because we've sort of veered, and that's fine because that's what we do here. But that's kind of where it started. Just to, just so you're on a level playing field with everyone else.
Yeah, I see the phone emblem on my thing, but I'm not on the phone. So, so I only have a minute because I'm on my way out to a bike ride, but which I recommend to everybody as kind of getting your stress out through exercise. So I've said in the chat pretty much what I wanted to say is that I don't think this is the time for character assassination. When there's been a political assassination. And that's one thing. The second thing is, which is the tendency is very alluring.
Well, what I did was I read quotes. I didn't have anything.
Yeah, I heard that. That brings up my second point is I understand the tendency to read those quotes and the summary of those quotes, but I also think I saw that list of quotes.
But you didn't because I made it. You didn't because
okay, well, I saw a very similar list was sent to me, and I researched it. Not all of it. I didn't have time, but I said I wanted to see the videos of the person. I asked AI, send me the videos of the person saying these things because I really wanted to. I know who he is, but I hadn't ever really listened to him in more than a news clip here or there. And so I just want to be sure it was not fake news. So one of the quotes I researched was the quote about dying for gun rights. And if you read the context of the quote, the entire context of the quote is about we die for other rights every day in our country, such as the right to drive. People are killed every day and are willing to take that risk. And so his point he was making in that, I'm not defending him. I'm not aligned with him. I'm just saying that the point he was making in that particular one quote was that people die for the rights to do things all the time, including driving. And so there's going to be a cost of lives for gun rights. People are going to die to exercise those rights. So that brings to my point that I think people need to see for themselves what's real news and fake news, and they need to have context and quotes. Reading a list of quotes.
I want to dig in. I want to dig in. Wait. Before you do the added girls, I just want to ask you a question to clarify something. maybe deepen what you're saying a little bit, and I really want to hear your comment. So, do you think framing avoidable death as an acceptable cost of ideological purity and aligning with the extremist rhetoric that normalizes mass shootings and discourages reform is a productive manner of framing a dialogue? Because essentially, that's a connection I'm making with that.
Is what? Can you repeat that, please? Because you're blurry.
Yeah. So
let's ask a question after.
If it's for Stephanie, that Stephanie can respond to, and you're being it's an honest question to deepen the conversation and not to inflame it. Yeah.
No.
Okay. Sam, go ahead.
No.
No. Well, one question at a time. Wait.
Yes, that's fair.
Wait. One question at a time. Dr. James' question, or now you're deferring to Sam?
Yeah. No.
We're continuing with Dr. James.
Stephanie's rules. It's we're asking her the question, and I think we're not dealing with Benjamin right now. I want to be very respectful because I feel like she's giving us a very she's owning her position here. I really want to.
Stephanie is awesome.
What? Yes, but we don't need to add a girl yet. Let's just Stephanie, I'm going to rescind my question temporarily because Sam asks really good pointed questions.
Okay, go ahead, Sam. All right. I just want to know, I don't want to be playing, hopscotch here.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah, so my simple question is that, first of all, driving is not a right, and we don't engage in dying or driving in order to protect our right or privilege to drive. So I'm not sure if that analogy works. So I'm going to ask if you are aware of any other constitutional right in the United States that on a daily basis people die in order to protect those. Or is gun ownership, Second Amendment, the only right that requires the shedding of blood for its protection?
But you're asking the wrong person, Sam. Stephanie was just quoting Charlie Kirk.
Yeah. So no. That's a question that that.
I think okay. All right.
And so if she's, I didn't know.
Okay. So I think bringing up the question, not for me to really answer because I haven't done the research and I don't know the answer. My inclination, my gut tells me there's probably not, but I'm research and fact based, so I'm not going to just throw out and say I don't know or I do know because I haven't had the time to research. I appreciate the question. I think it brings up, it's not really a question, it's more of a critical thought that this conversation is instigating. So I appreciate that. But the answer to you is I haven't had time to research that and I don't know, but I doubt that there is one. But that's just a gut thing. And so I also wanted to say that I also put in the chat about the campaign called Unfuck America by a political operative on the progressive side who would go around to the Charlie Kirk campus talks and they would try to get in. They weren't always let in because they were an organized campaign and they would bring in other kinds of, podcasters, streamers, etc., that could conduct themselves much the way Charlie Kirk does in terms of fluidity, being quick thinking on their feet, smart, but on the left side. And they bring them in and try to get their people in the debate room because in certain universities or certain contexts, he would be sitting in a more intimate setting inside a building with a table in the middle, and then the person coming out to debate him would sit there, and it would be a longer conversation, not just a one-off question like we saw in Utah. And so they would try to get their people in there to have more of an equal footing in debating the issues. So I just wanted to put that in there to say, and she's kind of controversial. I mean, she has her critics. She organizes it. She doesn't do the debating, but she organizes it and finds the people to debate. Found the people to debate him.
but I just wanted to, I think it's important to know that there are other stuff going on. And I'm not saying that they were as inflammatory as he is or was, but they would give him a run for his money. And then it got to the point where Turning Point started to try to not allow them into the events. So they would have to kind of sneak in and get tickets surreptitiously. But anyway, so that's, I don't, and regarding the firing, I believe it was NBC or CBS analyst was fired. I haven't read the article, but I believe I heard yesterday that a CBS or NBC analyst was fired because of their response. And, Matthew Dowd, that's right. And I don't know what other, but it's not, beyond this event, people do get fired for saying things that are considered not aligned with the brand.
I'm going to read what he said really quick because I have
But do you agree, Dr. James?
Do you know?
I'm going to.
I like Dr. James, who he is.
I just like to read what he said.
For a decade, he's a political pundit on a major network.
I just like to read what he said. It's very quick. He was fired for this. Basically said constantly, Kirk was constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech aimed at certain groups. And then he added, I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which lead to hateful actions. And I think that's the environment we're in. So that was the quote he was fired for.
Yeah. So anyway, people get fired for less and more in our culture all the time for saying things that hurt their brand, that the brand does not agree with, and they get hired for it. So do I think it's okay? I don't know if it's not up. I don't have it's American capitalism. If you're not aligned with your brand and you're saying things publicly, even if it's in your personal life, you can get fired for it. It happens all the time. So I don't think it's unique to this situation. And my main thing, though, is I'm not going to do any character assassination on someone I disagree with right now out of respect for the fact that a human being was murdered and has a family, friends, and people that loved him and miss him. And I don't think it's an appropriate time to be doing anything that's going to be character assassination on a human being.
Stephanie, quick question. Do you believe it's character assassination to read the exact words said by a person who recently...
Well, are you going to read the positive things he said? The non-attack things he said?
No, just context. It's character assassination. The term is very specific. I'm just asking you, is it character assassination to read anything he said?
Well, of course, it's not character assassination if you're reading loving things that people say.
But if
when
they
you're
said
reading pointedly things that a person is saying that fire up people and that have led to really extreme. I don't think I need to spell this out. I think it's not an appropriate time for what you did.
So is it character assassination to read something that someone said without an opinion about it? Because I didn't give you an opinion.
You don't have to give an opinion to trigger people.
Is it character assassination?
I don't know. Are you going to get that? I don't know. I would lean towards yes, but that's a leaning towards yes. I don't think you're opening it up, and I feel like it's baiting people. And it's clear from what people have been saying here that it's
Would you be willing to read us a bunch of very wonderful things that he said?
I don't have that list, and I'm going on a bike ride. I just responded because you invited me up for a few minutes, and I just feel as if we all need to bring the temperature down, 20 or 30 degrees here. So I think I understand, what's going on in our society and why we're having a lot of these conversations right now. You review a history of someone's life when they pass away. If they're prominent, it's normal. But there are I mean, I can say character assassination about Martin Luther King. He wasn't perfect. He did things that would trigger people, you know, and people didn't say it after he died, but they said it when he was alive, and then later after he died, they did. So, I mean, there are all kinds.
For the room, how long is the right amount of time to wait to be able to say that free speech about a free speech advocate? What's the right amount of time?
It's too soon for Abraham Lincoln. I get triggered every time I hear this.
Oh my God.
I'm just asking you. I just want to know. I mean, what's the right amount of time? Let's figure this out. Let's make this scientific, and then we'll be respectful of that.
It's not scientific, Dr. James. It's not scientific.
I'm being snarky. You are being really
snarky. Over and over again. And even that question is snarky.
Give a cultural touchdown. Been buried first. For Stephanie's purposes, wait till he's buried.
Okay. All right.
He'll probably lay in state for a month. But whatever. For everybody's got different comfort levels, so that's why it's obviously a tough issue.
That's fair. I like that, actually. I mean, personally, I really like that. I think that's something that I put a pin in it in my brain. I'm like, yeah, that feels kind of nice. Let's wait till someone's in the ground.
That's going to be probably in 2 weeks. So there you go.
Yeah, I like that. I think, that was interesting because I was being snarky.
Just waited till I'm in the ground and they talk bad about me all the time, especially Sam.
We wouldn't get the benefit of you hearing it.
Now, that's not what we're talking about. I'm not saying you can't talk bad about people when they're alive.
Who said I'm alive? You have proof that I'm alive?
No, I don't have proof that you're alive. You're
not
fake news. You are fake news. You're potentially
Boy, if I had to wait till people are dead.
Sam, you're up. No, you're up.
No, I was just saying I would have to shut up forever because I only talk bad about white people. How can I wait until like Chinga, like Benjamin? If I have to wait until they're under the ground, it's like I'm gonna die of boredom.
Sam, I want to make out with you right now.
Baby.
The essence of the question here, regarding the Rolling Stones article, I haven't read it. I'm going to read it. But I think, to me, one of the interesting parts of this question you're raising, Dr. James, is the division between what you're saying when you're representing a company and what you say in your private life, and where those two, meet, and when does the overlap happen, and then when are people put at risk for their jobs because of their freedom of speech in their private life versus their job responsibilities or their reflection of what they say on the brand of where they work. So that, to me, that's the interesting part of this discussion you're bringing up.
Thank you, Stephanie. And I appreciate you playing along. Yes, you were a little bit in the hot seat, and it wasn't intentional, but there was a lot of good fodder. I couldn't stop myself. Steve, good morning. Welcome. So happy.
Hi. Hey, good to see you. Look, I would say with regard to this whole conversation about the assassination of Charlie Kirk and his views, the idea that this is a moral question, I think, is absurd. I mean, this is like having a moral discussion about putting your elbows on the table during dinner or spitting in public. I mean, these are not things that have an ethical component to them. There is no ethical component. This is just a question of individuals' mores and taste and, appetite for conflict. This has nothing to do with morality. Some people don't feel comfortable talking about Charlie Kirk's repugnant views at this moment because he was just assassinated, and that's completely understandable. Other people feel it's very important to talk about them, and that's understandable. The idea that there's a right or wrong answer on some ethical dimension is ridiculous.
How about the firings, like in this particular case? Would you frame it the way kind of David and others framed it, with it's just he said something off-brand?
Firings bring us into a legal dimension, right? Which again is not ethical either. right? I mean, when you're in an employment relationship, now you're talking about a legal relationship. Employees have certain protections in certain states, not in others. They may have constitutional protections if they're public employees. And those are the considerations everyone was talking about. No one was talking about the ethical consideration, right? Put aside this situation, just any situation in which an employer has the legal right to fire an employee. Does that answer the question about whether it's the right thing to do? Well, of course not. The two are loosely related, but they're just different questions. So if you're asking the question, do they have the legal right to fire someone? Well, whatever, we can do the legal analysis. Is that really very interesting? If you're asking the question, is it the right thing to do? Well, that's a more complicated
That was the complicated question I was leaning into. Maybe not the word right versus wrong, but more the question of, just kind of, I wanted to simmer in that a little bit and talk about that a little bit. And in particular, just really quick, because something in the article that I read was really quick. The irony of this termination and slew of similar firings over the past 24 hours is that Kirk and Turning Point USA, the conservative youth group he co-founded, branded themselves as the ultimate defenders of free speech in a June debate at Oxford Union during a tour of the UK, in which he condemned the country for its totalitarian censorship of its citizens. He argued, you should just be allowed to say outrageous things. Last year, Kirk posted on X, hate speech does not exist legally in America. There's ugly speech, there's gross speech, there's evil speech, and all of it is protected by the First Amendment, keep America free. So it was kind of like the firings and the tape that Rolling Stone was taking on it. I thought, that's kind of an interesting dialogue. I mean, aside from sort of the obvious conversations people are having right now.
I mean, look, my honest reaction to that is that it's a clever little angle, but it's really irrelevant, right? If you really think about it, whether the gentleman at MSNBC was fired for saying something in connection with Charlie Kirk, who had some opinions about the First Amendment, or somebody else who never said a word about the First Amendment, really wouldn't make any difference, right? There's a certain irony there, or a poetic parallel, but it's irrelevant, right? It's whether he should have been fired has nothing to do with whether Charlie Kirk cared about the First Amendment. So it's really just to me, it's just a soundbite. It's just an angle for an article. It has nothing to do with the potentially serious question about whether MSNBC did the right thing by firing this guy. I just don't think it's just drawing a parallel because it makes good reading, not because it informs the answer to the question. It doesn't. It's irrelevant.
Thank you for that.
And the scale is a bunch of these teachers are put on because they have contracts. Teachers have contracts. They can't fire them. They put them on suspension and things like that. So I'm not saying that Rolling Stone needs to sell magazines or anything, but losing is doing a lot of work as a verb in that headline.
That's fair. And, this wouldn't be Let's Walk Together if I didn't say this is Let's Walk Together. We've talked about this or anything you want at any time. If you're up here, it's just honor system, be kind, be maybe a little gentle. So today I've been lacking in, I think, a little genteelness. Keep it classy, borderline classy today. And then,
question, did anybody see any surveillance videos or photos, anything looking like a long rifle that would be like, not breaking down? Like a Ruger or whatever kind of weapon that was. It's like 47 inches long. You can't put that in your pants. And
what about that limp they were saying he was walking?
You can't. He jumped off the roof. What limp?
Before he jumped on the roof, when he was walking to the event, before the event happened, I saw a video where he's limp.
Put it in the chat. I haven't seen it. No description. 40. I mean, it should go up to beyond your waist. It wouldn't hinge at the knee. So let's see, maybe, but just details to follow, but questions to ask.
I mean, what are the craziest conspiracies about this that you've heard? Because I've heard some real dude.
Oh, I don't want to spread those. That's not what.
Okay. Let's not.
social media. I mean, you already put your top link is a Rolling Stone article, for fuck's sake.
You're right. I'm like, this is really lowest common denominator. Okay, so we're gonna take that down now.
Pop culture as a source.
That's fair. I take that critique. I also take the critique that I was being a bit inflammatory earlier as well. It's fair. I think it's all fair. I mean, it's not the general character of the room or the intent here. I just, I couldn't help. So, here's what's happening. We are at a little bit of a lull, and Benjamin wants back up. Does anyone want to have a dialogue with Benjamin one-on-one right now? On stage. Because I don't want to do the thing where we slip into the Benjamin show right now. So, unless someone has a direct conversation you want to have with him, Benjamin, just come back on Monday. Hang out. Okay, let's try. Here we go. I'm going to try it against my better judgment. Let's see how it goes. Benjamin, welcome. What would you like to say? John Malincrot. John Cougar Malincrot.
I'm not going to let Benjamin just be up here and, without somebody to correct.
Thank you. So John and Romero v. Benjamin.
I'm here. Yeah, John, you missed Sam. There is a replay. Sam was doing a good job, and I tried. But Benjamin said something I said was somewhat off the short bus or something. I can't remember what the compliment was.
Well, it sounded like there'd been an incident. I just got here.
It started good, though. I mean, it started.
It's trying.
Let's talk about quantum healing.
If Benjamin's on stage. If Benjamin's on stage, there's an incident.
Okay, so let's do this. John, you're up first. Romero, you're up next. And let's try to keep the conversation classy. Let's not do what I did with the interrogation. Let's just try to have a chat.
All right, I won't talk if you want it to be.
No, Sam, only Sam. Sam and Steve, the attorneys, the licensed, attorneys in the room, they can interrogate.
Well, I don't really have anything really to add. I just, I've finished preparing my bite. My bite of physics starts in half an hour. So I thought I would test out my club deck connection with you guys and hang out for a little while.
Did you 30, John? Pacific
At 9:30, yep.
Perfect. And we're going to definitely close down before.
Yeah, that's right. At the bottom of the hour, I think they say.
I'm just here to align my chakras and do some
quantum. BB, good Shabbos, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher Shanu, b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, lahadlik neshel Shabbat, b'nei pri hagafen.
Your favorite chewing gum from your childhood is going to make a comeback, and the dead still don't rise from the grave. But they will on Tuesday, February 5th, 2045.
Did any of you see that Peter Thiel is going to be doing a 4-day lecture in the Bay Area on the Antichrist?
Did you see the interview with this Christian podcaster interview? Where he's like, do you want the human race to?
עדיין הוא צורך